Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Robert. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to do it either directly to my PayPal, usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Do have a Cash App as well, because people have asked about that. So anyway, those links are down below in the info box. It'll be for any type of video, re-review, video game playthrough, topic reaction, commentary, what have you. Whatever the case. And he actually requested two films, Kick-Ass and the sequel, Kick-Ass 2. Now, the first film, Kick-Ass, came out in 2010, and I will admit, when I first saw this, I was not big on it. When I first saw this film, I wasn't really a huge fan, but I will say it is one of those films throughout the years that has grown on me. I think Matthew Vaughn, both this and then what he would do in the Kingsman movies, the two that I saw, because I think there was another one but I never saw it. I don't know if Matthew Vaughn was involved with that one. It was like a prequel or something, but the two Kingsman films I saw I did quite like. I do think he had a handle on the action. I do think that it wasn't too much shaky cam annoyances of that nature. In particular, the sequences with Hit Girl. I felt such a big impact of the violence and the attitude of the character was inflicted throughout with the violence. Aaron Taylor Johnson, there is stuff of his I've enjoyed since then. I enjoyed him in Bullet Train. And I forget what was the other movie that came out. I think it was pretty recently. God, I can't remember. But I do remember liking Bullet Train. And I think the thing of it, Kick-Ass, he's kind of the least interesting character to me, and he's the lead guy. I will say watch it again as the movie went out towards its finale. I could kind of deal with him because his heart is in the right place. And the way it's written, I do think is a much better written movie compared to the sequel. I think I remember saying, I did not see Kick-Ass 2 when it came out. I saw Kick-Ass 2 many years later. And when I saw that, it kind of made me appreciate the first film more. Because the first film is just better written with the characters. And I do like the relationship between Hit Girl and her dad, Big Daddy. I guess I should explain because there may be people that don't know what the hell I'm talking about with this movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson is a high school kid, although he looks like he's 21, but he's supposed to be a high school kid, and just kind of with his buddies. I recognize one of his buddies. It's like Clark Duke or something. He was in Hot Tub Time Machine 1 and 2. He was like the younger kid that hung out with John Cusack and all those guys. Which I like Hot Tub Time Machine 1, not a fan of the second one. But one day he's a big comic book fan. He gets picked on with his buddies get picked on by these bullies, and then he'll look over and people kind of close their windows and they ignore it because, hey, they don't want to be part of the problem. They don't want to take part in it. And that kind of gets him very agitated. Like people will see other people in trouble and not do anything about it. So he wants to do something about it. So he has this green outfit that he makes and has these little baton type things, and he's going to be Kick-Ass. Now Granny goes out there and he gets his ass kicked badly. To the point at one point he was in the damn hospital and they took the clothes off and threw it away, and then people assumed that, oh, well, they found you butt naked. They didn't find me butt naked. They threw the clothes away because of da-da-da. So, but he wants to really get this done. And when it's got caught on video, other people become inspired by it. Or they want to know more about him. Or even become a bit annoyed with him. Which then you have other characters. There's this little girl who's a 12-year-old girl played by Chloe Grace Moretz, called Hit Girl, and she has a dad, Big Daddy, played by Nicolas Cage. And the story of that film, or those characters, is Nick Cage's character was a police officer. He was framed for a crime. He went to jail. His wife was pregnant. She couldn't handle it. She ended her life, but the baby was born. Nick Cage took care of the kid and decided from an early age, I'm going to train this kid. So I guess in a way you could say it's even a more screwed up version of Batman. Because you have Batman training Robin, who's a very young kid. Well, it depends which Robin you're talking about. Here, it's even younger, and it's his own daughter. But it's a very unique, kind of sweet, but very weird relationship, which I thought was the most fascinating part of the movie. And I will admit, there's a part of me that wanted the whole movie to be about them and them alone. Because Nick Cage, I liked him when he has a suit on. He's trying to be Adam West. I think that was on purpose. Like on purpose, he wanted to play it as an Adam West type with the way he talked. And when he doesn't have the costume, he's the "aw shucks" type of dad. Like when the daughter, Hit Girl, says, well, I want a dog, I want a puppy. Oh, I'm just fucking with you, Dad. I want a butterfly knife. And he's like, you always knock me for a loop. Or when he's testing out her bulletproof vest, and she's like, fine, but if I don't want to do this, I want some ice cream afterward. Okay, baby, but don't complain or anything. And, hey, after this, we'll get some ice cream. And then shoots her again to test the damn bulletproof vest. And that's what I mean, like, that was such a unique... It was funny. Of course, in real life, that'd be completely screwed up. At the same time, like I said, the way Nick Cage, you could tell he cared for his daughter and all that stuff. Just, again, weird but sweet. So I thought that the cast, for the most part, did well. I thought that the music by John Murphy, which there's definitely pieces of music that remind me of other films. For example, Sunshine. The music in Sunshine was Surface of the Sun, I think. I remember liking that. And there's a scene where a character is on fire, and another character has to try to save that person. And Surface of the Sun, or at least a version of it, is playing from the Sunshine soundtrack. So I'm kind of surprised John Murphy reused some of his music. I wonder if it was the director's choice of, hey, I really like that piece of music, could you use it in this one? And okay, fine, but I'll rework it a bit. But it's still a really good score. That's one of the things I thought was missing. One of the many things missing from the sequel. Because I don't think John Murphy came back to do the music. I didn't feel like an overindulgence, overabundance of CGI. Yes, there is CG in it, like a lot of these comic book movies, but I didn't feel it as in my face as I did in the sequel. The action scenes that do occur, especially with Hit Girl, whether it be the first appearance, where Kick-Ass is in way over his head and she comes in and she like keeps smiling at him like, hey, look what I'm doing. Are you impressed? And then she does these very violent deeds, stabbing people and stuff. Or the lobby scene. There's a hallway scene. Well, there's two different scenes, but there's a lobby that ends with a hallway scene where she just goes to town and shooting people, blah, blah, blah. Kind of before John Wick, it's just the way she was doing it, reloading, do all this stuff. Yes, it's unrealistic. You're not going into this for realism. It's for escapism. I thought Chloe Grace... Sorry, I keep stretching because got a kink in the shoulder, so I apologize for that. they landed on it wrong, so I apologize. But yeah, it was definitely a film that got people uh, noticing Chloe Grace Moretz, which will lead to the sequel. Then she was in that Terry remake and in other films. There's the bit with Nick Cage in this warehouse, and we see that he just completely decimates his warehouse, taking people out one by one from the bottom floor going up the stairs. Granted, the way it looked, it seemed like at first they were going to do a one-take shot, but they didn't. Because it'll go, and then it'll cut forward like 4 seconds, and then he'll do this, then it cuts another 10 seconds forward. And I don't know if it's they were thinking of doing a one-take shot, but they realized they couldn't do it. Whether because Nick Cage couldn't do it, or whoever's in the suit, or maybe it's just a stylistic choice. I still thought it was a fun scene. It would have been interesting if they did do it like a one-take shot. Which is funny, the director would do that later in the first Teensman. When the guy's in the church and everyone's going crazy, and it's that one shot where he's killing all these people and doing all this stuff to make it look like one shot, and that definitely sticks out. So I don't know if he wanted to do that, he couldn't for whatever reason, and then he did it in the Teensman, or again if this was just his choice. I don't know. I still like the scene, but it's just something that popped in my head ever since I first saw it. Now, the bad guy is Mark Strachan. I do like him as an actor, and he was great in the Teensman, those two movies. So, and I liked Mark Strachan's character as the villain. I thought he had a bit of personality to him. I liked some of the scenes involving him, like they're asking one of his men what happened to the cocaine, and the guy's trying to explain. He's telling the truth, but they don't believe him. And so he's like telling the guy, so you want to tell me that my coke was taken by Superman? And the other guy says, Batman. And then the guy's like, no, I never said Batman. What are you talking about? I never said Batman. No. And it is unapologetically violent. You know, whether it be a scene when Hit Girl and Nick Cage are trying to interrogate a guy who's in one of those like cars, and there's a crusher, and they're getting ready to crush the car, but you better talk. That comes to a violent end. People getting headshots and things of that nature. The use of music, I did not mind the use of songs. There's even a point where Ennio Morricone music starts playing in the lobby scene. I thought that was that fit within the sequence. Now, did all the humor work for me? No. I think early on, like with the character Aaron Taylor Johnson plays, I don't need to know that he jerks off to his teacher. I don't need to hear lines like, maybe I'm going to make a deposit in the Whack House warehouse later, and I'm throwing like constant tissues away because he's jerking the gherkin. And I don't need to know that, see that, hear about it, or anything. It just... And that's what I mean where, watching it again for this review, as it went on, I tolerated him more and more. I would say I liked him more than Scout Taylor. What was it? Not Scott Taylor. Scott Pilgrim. Scott Taylor. Who the hell is Scott Taylor? Scott Taylor Compton? Strahar Compton? Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, because I'm not a fan of that film. And yes, I still feel that way. It wasn't like Kick-Ass that grew on me. This guy I liked more than that guy. I think what it is, when I watch seeing spoilers, again the spoilers, where he made a mistake by trusting someone, which is McLovin. That's the actor's Christopher Mintz-Plasse. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But he was McLovin and super bad, so I'm going to keep calling him McLovin. McLovin is the son of Mark Strachan's character. McLovin had a plan He pretended to be a superhero called the Red Mist, and hey, I did this because of you, and let's be friends. And then he turned on him, was able to find Big Daddy, Nick Cage, kidnap him. Hit Girl tries to save them, kills the bad guys, but Nick Cage has been burnt and he's been killed. Just too far gone. I thought the little goodbye scene worked well because I think Chloe Grace did a nice job emotionally. And I thought again, they say she's 12, but 12, 13, whatever her actual age is, I thought she did good. Because not all child actors do a good job in movies like this. I do like the bit where Aaron Taylor Johnson is talking to her about, oh, you can't do this, and I owe you, and, it was for you I'd be dead. And then she fires back with, yeah, and if it wasn't for you, my dad would be alive. And the look that he has, like the look Aaron Taylor Johnson has, and the look that he kind of showcases, that regret, that sorrow, the fact he decides to go forward, even though he knows he's incompetent, he knows he's in way over his head, but he still feels like he owes this girl for what he inadvertently did, and then is able to get a bit of a payback. Again, spoilers, where he gets the jetpack and the machine gun, and then he blows the bad guy away with a fucking rocket, with a really cool shot, which I know this is based on comics. I never read them, but I would bet, I would be surprised if this wasn't a comic book panel they copied, where the guy flies back and the camera goes back, and you see the guy fly out like this and then blow up. I think that's a very cool shot. And talking about the music, when he takes Hit Girl and they fly away, I even like that theme. I didn't mind the girl that played his girlfriend, which he pretends to be gay, but then he tells the truth, and then she's kind of a bit, iffy at first, but she's like, because he spent time together, she gets over it a bit. I bring that up because when I get to the sequel, they just do something completely stupid with that. But again, other than the fact that it took me a bit to tolerate Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, the fact that I do think he's the less interesting character in the movie. But again, by the second half, I kind of warmed up to him. Even watch it again here. Not all the humor works, but it's a very stylish movie. Hit Girl has some very standout, badass scenes. The action scenes are, there's a bit of, shaky, but it didn't feel as confusingly edited hack job like Kick-Ass 2 did. She's got a completely different director. I mean, again, one guy did, like I said, Kingsman 1 and 2, which I thought were good. The guy who did the sequel did Fantasy Island and Truth or Dare. And yeah, I said that wrong on purpose, because it ain't worth me spitting it out correctly. Truth or Dare, sorry. But not sorry, because that film sucks. Well, pretty much every film Jeff Wadlow has done sucks. I think he did Cry Wolf with Bon Jovi and Never Back Down and all this other shit. But anyway, that's the whole other thing. But yeah, Kick-Ass 1. I like the usage of the music. I like the score. Bart Strong's a fun bad guy. McLovin is there. He's fine. When they try to make him the lead villain, I think that was a mistake because I don't think he works for a main villain capacity. But as a support, fine. Nick Cage and Chloe Grace, they were the best parts as Big Daddy and Hit Girl. because he killed off his character, he was very missed in the sequel. And like I said, I do think it was a better written movie. And overall, like I said, a movie that grew on me. That I do like, at the end of the day, I do like it. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.